Okay, so hello. My name is William. Today's video is called. Today I'm going to talk about the Earn It Act. It says it determines identity encryption and making everyone less safe. Well, because I already talked about the Take It Down Act, that's why. And the Take It Down Act already signed the law. But I don't know about now. What about Earn It Act? The Earn It Act. Well, it says undermines and encryption and making everyone less safe. And if you want to read more about it, it says right here about Earn It. The Earn It Act in 2023 threatens the undetermined online encryption and punishing companies that provide encryption services by repeating them the same mistakes a previous bill called SESTA/FOSTA. It was spread internet censorship and crackdowns on marginalized communities. When Earn It was previously introduced in 2020 and 2022, it was shoved in the face of overthrowing the Republic of opposition from human rights groups. Now lawmakers are using it a third time, holding it to pass it and break the internet while we're distracted. So that's what it says anyway. So here, stop the Earn It Act. Okay, now what kind of bill is the Earn It Act? Well, I think it's a Senate bill in the U.S. And to tell you the truth, I don't know much about it. Yeah, it's S2. It's S1207, the Earn It Act. I'll show you what it looks like. It hasn't passed. It still says introduced. There's the Earn It Act of 2022. So we're trying to introduce this, so that's why, but we need to stop it. That's why. So stop the Earn It Act. This bill would make kids less safe, not more safe. It would kill online privacy for expression and tell your lawmakers to oppose it. That's why. So red alert, Congress are introducing the Earn It Act, a dangerous misleading bill that claims to be a protecting children, but it would actually put all of us all in danger. The Earn It Act of 2023 threatens the undetermined online encryption, and by repeating the same mistakes the previous bill called SESTA/FOSTA, it would lead to widespread internet censorship with crackdowns, marginalized communities. When Earn It was previously introduced in 2020 and 2022, and was shoved in the face of the country overthrowing the public outcry of opposition from human rights groups. But now lawmakers are introducing Earn It for the third time, hoping to pass it and break the internet while we're distracted. Sign the petition below to tell Congress, don't attack encryption, protect free speech, and reject the dangerous Earn It Act. So yeah, you have to tell, just you can call your senators and tell them to vote no on the Earn It Act. That's why. Time is running out. Stop the Earn It Act. Now the Earn It Act is being introduced, it's more likely very quickly because it would be misleading and sold as a bill to protect children, but it would be difficult for issues to vote against it. But if enough to speak out, we can convince leaders in the House and Senate to stop the Earn It Act from ever going to the floor a vote. Fill out the form and write the lawmakers right now. You also watch these videos right here, but let's keep reading anyway. Experts saying why Earn It Act is dangerous. When the Earn It Act was first introduced, Five for the Future hosted a virtual meeting with Senator Rome and to discover open letter opposing it. The event featured legal experts and human activities and technologists. When according below, we see the Earn It Act threatens online freedom and privacy. That's why. And yeah, he goes, you go to YouTube to see what this video is featuring right here. But let's give me this part. So the Earn It Act is a wolf in sheep's clothing. Well, that's what the Bible talks about false prophets, that's for sure. As the was before the bill issued a deduction, Senator Lindsey Graham, RSC, delivered threat that Apple, Meta, and the other tech company that might refuse to shut down encryption programs to prevent malicious hackers. Law enforcement officers and others from accessing private communication systems. We're going to find a way to do this, and we're going to do this. We're going to do it for you, Graham. Then when to make it good on this threat. Graham authored Eliminating Abusive Rampant Etiquette of Interactive Technologies Act 2018, or the Internet Act for short, under the guise of protecting children from online exploitation. But the legislation was and continues to be so that any veiled excuses destroy privacy protections for everyday people like you and me. Instead of fighting online protection at the source, the Internet's Authors Act, like online encryption itself, evidence for illegal behavior. The bill pressures the tech companies to quit offering it as a security tool or build backdoors that allow law enforcement as new messages. But Internet doesn't stop at breaking encryption. It also applies to companies that should scan everything on their platforms, where it could break things like Apple's inventory, client safe scanning policy, and should be significantly pressure them to change. On the top of Internet, it would massively expand Internet censorship. It reduces protections of Section 230, where the action have already resulted in tons of content being pulled from the web, and all the adds up to less security from less freedom online and making it less safe online. Encryption protects secure systems from hackers. Alright, so security platforms have really warned us that killing encryption will have disastrous effects, but it has stopped our government from installing additional backdoors in security systems. Particularly hackers discovered and exploited those additional backdoors, wreaking havoc with communication systems and power grids and even nuclear factories. Same lawmakers understand the risk of Poll's breaking encryption in 2016. A bipartisan constitutional commission concluded of the exploratory of the national interest of the Ron Wyden, point out that you can't only make a backdoor for the good guys. Once you weaken the encryption of the backdoor, you can make it far easier for criminals and hackers and predators to get into your digital life. Do we want criminals and hackers and predators to get into our hospital records and court records, energy infrastructure? Of course not. Encryption protects the public from invasive surveillance. Edward Snowden exposed the American government massive and unconstitutional digital surveillance program back in 2013. Unfortunately, Snowden revelations didn't stop our law enforcement and intelligence agencies of using surveillance to stop the spy on journalists and racial activists and millions more. Beyond the significant surveillance, the issues we face, individual police officers widely misuse their access of the confidential databases of nation neighbors and robotic partners and business rivals. We know that going law enforcement intelligence officials access our communications result in them advantage, access the ways that hurt us, often absolutely don't benefit the public good. We should trust them, but even with our great access to private conversations, simply put, we shouldn't. We need free speech online more than ever. The right to control our own bodies, is under attack. Free speech online could be more domino than fall. But following the reversal raw and wide of states have paid business restrictions on abortion and protected rights at the same, lawmakers attacking the LGBTQ plus people, especially young people, are allowing and saving healthcare, the limiting of we can say and do. It's setting up against the government oppression, and the internet can help people and critical resources build community organized for human rights and by risk using law if the Internet Act is passed. Reaching politicians headed by online with free speech and the next target in the crusade against our First Amendment rights. The encryption tools are in the digital backstop, and they're going to communicate without the risk of the great surveillance. If the Internet Act is passed, those are gutted, and we can't let that happen. We don't need it. We don't need earn our right to privacy. Half a million people participated in a previous campaign to stop the Internet Act. They made clear the dangerous place is a situation contained by nearly every major LGBTQ organization in the U.S. as human rights and security experts around the world. Now lawmakers are renewing the efforts brought under different administration. They make us right of privacy and free speech online, but these rights don't need to be earned. They're protected by the Constitution. Don't let your Congress chip away your digital freedoms online. Sign the petition and tell your lawmakers, don't kill online encryption, reject the dangerous Internet Act. Now, organizing partners. These organizations are helping to fight the Internet Act by driving people to sign the petition, encouraging their followers to call Congress, reducing the events to raise awareness about this dangerous legislation. So that's what the Internet Act is. Okay, and now let's go back. Okay, now my federal now the one I haven't showed you about my the Facebook is by my federal representative Noma Torres. Well, I don't know. I don't have an. Okay. You got so here's some Facebook pages of Noma Torres. I don't know what kind of bill. I don't know. And National Night Owl and stuff like that, see? Oh, they're talking about CA35 and stuff, so yeah, I don't know much. But those are the posts I so far about Noma Torres anyway. But don't, you know. So, but you know, but who do I? But so you know, but how? Who I'm voting for is Congress. Well, as the federal representative in Congress. Well, I'll tell you which one. Well, maybe I'll show it to you on YouTube so that way you know. Because I have it in my post right here. So, alright, so here it is. To replace Norma Torres, is the federal representative in Congress. Well, I'll tell you who I be. Now I don't know if these kind of people will win in this November because I don't have an answer. If they don't, I won't be angry because you know what, that's fine. But I'm still gonna try to vote for them anyway. I want to vote for the Republican side, even if they don't win this November. You know that's why. Mark Cargile, it will be the person I'll be voting for federal representative in my area. Yeah, he's the Republican competitor of Norma Torres. Anyway, so that's why. So, yes. So yes, I'm voting for Mark Cargile for federal representative. That's why. Next, and then for the replaced Michelle Rodriguez, well, I'll be voting for Rafael Romero to become the member in my area. Yeah. And then there's Mike Nitter. Yes. To replace Susan Rubio. Yes. It's the state senator in my area. I guess I'm voting for him. So I'm trying to be voting for the Republican side. I'm not saying that they will win in November because I don't have an answer. I don't know if they will because only God knows the future. And I know the Cowboys are a Democrat state. Just mean that they, Democrats can vote Republicans if they want to. First of all, and it's supposed to be us who we'll be voting for anyway. So that's why. So yeah, Mark Cargile for federal representative in Congress. Rafael Rubio for assembly member, and then Mike Nitter for state senator. Those are the people I'm voting for in my area, So, to replace the ones I have that are Democrats. That's why. But now we need to get into about Steve Hilton now, because that's why. Well, I want to show you what Steve Hunter did as a support strategy in the UK. So, when Steve Hunter was the director of strategy under Prime Minister David Cameron from 2010 stuff, he rode inside 10 Dowling Street as a key to interact the coalition's modernization and policy and inventions. So, he campaigned against the transfer of the groups, and he organization consider the consciousness and he pushed on the Orthodox Digits Whitehall on focusing on sites of services the public institutions. So that's why. Yeah, that's what he did. I think so. That's what he did. Yes. But now we're getting to people that are exposing the bad things about Steve Hilton, and that's why. Well, first of all, Steve Hilton hugging Gavin Newsom. I'll show you that, but yeah, this was 10 years ago. This was back in 2016. I don't know why people are condemning this. Now, I'm telling you, they're showing me this picture here. Yeah, Steve Hilton and Gavin Newsom hugging. This was back in October of 2016. This was 10 years ago. Come on, why are you showing now, guys, on Twitter? Why are you showing me something why are you showing me something that was 10 years ago? You know? And this was a Democratic government. This was in the 2016 sheriff. This was 10 years ago. Way back in October 2016. 10 years ago. I don't know why you're showing me this. I don't know. And why do you think that Steve Hilton is still a buddy of Gavin Newsom? You're wrong about that. First of all, now, Steve does not express hatred, but he's probably of the going to replace Gavin Newsom and express the see, he's aggressively attacking Newsom's policies. So you see, he is yes, and undoubtedly government gets a high cost, almost criminal business. So no, you're wrong. Steve Hilton is no longer a buddy of Gavin Newsom. Now he hates Gavin Newsom. So you're wrong about this, guys. Okay? And the break the glass part, that was way back in May that he said that. So and now, where's people telling me that there's people saying that Steve Hilton wasn't a Republican. Well, first of all, that was before COVID. And now he is a Republican, so I think this was back in 2019. But here's what Google said. No, Stephen did not say he wasn't a Republican. He stated Stephen is still doing the debate. I'm not a Democrat, but well, why is this Republican over in California? That's what he said right now. But talk about in 2018. I think this was back in 2018 when he said that. That's why. I mean, his past nonpartisan background, his descriptions of the establishment party boxes of the, claiming he wasn't a real Republican and the service doing that his latest political campaigns. So yeah, he changed. Well, let me tell you something. So I'm gonna tell you when Steve Hilton became a Republican. So. because you're not trying to be clear. Here it is. So Steve Hilton did not transition from liberal to Democrat. He was a political background for this conversation. He aligned with the American Republican Party after moving to the U.S. in 2012. Republican doing Donald Trump in 2016, and he later became a citizen in 2021. So yeah, he did back Donald Trump in 2016's presidential campaign. Yes. See, he was a Republican all this time. Yeah, here. So here. And the Fox News emerging of the top ratings of the Republican Party. So yes, he is running as a Republican, so that's why. He's not a Democrat. I don't know why people are still saying that he's still a Democrat when he just changed to the Republican side anyway. I just Googled it. I'm just Googling it for you, so that way you know. I know this is an AI overview, but yeah. You can also read on Wikipedia too, that's why. And now... Now people are saying, but there's people saying that Steve Hilton, is saying that he's more left than Bernie Sanders. Well, I'm not sure when he said that. First of all, and I think this was before COVID too. Let me show you, alright? So, more left. I'm trying to look at an AI overview because I don't know why I don't know why you're telling me to say that anyway. And no, it's this right here. Yeah. So no, well, Google was saying that no, the Steve did not state that he was more left than Bernie Sanders. He was mixed up regarding description he wrote about says combining political attacks of his opponents. So that's what he said anyway. He probably did say that in his own words, but I think this was before COVID. First of all, yeah, I don't know, but this is before COVID, so I don't know why you guys are thinking about this. I don't know why Kami Dean's thinking about saying those things. And let me tell you, well, then I have to show you because Xavier Becerra, you know, the Democrat candidate for governor. Let me tell you something. All right. He has been in California a lot longer than Steve Hilton. You know, all to you. So, when Nick Service said was Attorney General of California from 2010 to 2021. He was building a national intervention against federal actions. That's one, and 120 times. He was the first Latino to hold office. Yeah, he was a defendant healthcare, for privacy, and then productive rights. But Say he was the Attorney General of California from 2017 to 2021. Yes. And then the excerpts are lost. Yeah. So when Stephen was the excentric, yeah, he. So yeah, here at the New York Times, he was not the Interstate lost telephone of roughly 85,000 accompanied migrant children or placing with sponsors. So that's what he did right here. When he was agent as secretary. And he had studied congregation 80,000 children because of excessive facility losing track of exploitation of accompanied minors. That's what happened to him. Yeah, that's what Xavier Sarah did. He was as a secretary, and yeah. So yeah. So yes, Xavier Sarah is much worse than Steve Hilton. Is what I'm trying to tell you. So yes, and plus Xavier Sarah, he wants more taxes in California. You know, that's why. So, look, I'm not, now, if you want to vote for him, that's fine, but I'm just saying that he wants more taxes and regulations in California. You know, and I know he's been in California a lot longer than Steve Hilton. Why do you want him? You know? And I know Steve Hilton has good plans to what he wants to fix in California. Anyway. And he choose something. You choose me. Alright. So I googled this. Steve Hilton came to the U.S. as a legal immigrant, not an illegal immigrant. So no, he doesn't have to go back to the UK. You stupid. First of all, okay, he doesn't have to go back to the UK. He came to the U.S. as a legal immigrant, not an illegal immigrant. Okay, that's why. So. So no, Steve doesn't have to go back to Europe. He can stay here in the U.S. He came here as a legal immigrant. So, not an illegal immigrant. Talk about the people that want Steve to go back to the UK or something like that, or Hungary or something like that. Yeah, I know. These people, I think these people are stupid anyway. And you know that's why. Because he came as a legal immigrant, not an illegal immigrant. Now, so I don't know why about that anyway. And I always write a post about on foreign yes, we're going to stop tax hikes. So anyway, we need to stop the. Hopefully we and hopefully we can stop the Earn It Act because. Oh yeah, and hopefully we can stop the Earn It Act because it's something. Anyway, and let's take a look at Reform California here. Let's read about this part now. So Reform California launches a ballot harvesting program for 2016 midterm election. Let's read about that now. So many Republicans have voted rightly to scale up ballot harvesting, but since Democratic aggressively have used ballot harvesting that comes electronics across the state, Reform California has its own ballot harvesting program to counter them until 2016 midterm election. So that's what. So ballot harvesting is gathering on the community of ballots by their parties, like volunteers or workers, rather than themselves of the two polling centers. Conditional voting practice illegal in most states, but not in California, where Democrats are legalized and have promoted for past several election cycles. While some Republicans are worried about the ballot harvesting, Reform California is launching a ambitious stable program to do ballot harvesting on the constituent voters in a legal way. Carl DeMaio, a chairman of Reform California, says he will strongly oppose the ballot harvesting as long as it is legal and used by Democrats. That Republicans should not do it to risk to not winning elections. But I want to ban ballot harvesting eventually. But until the conservatives need to be smart, and we need to do some strategies. Democrats are using them to better order to win the state, said DeMaio. Whether we can like it or not, ballot harvesting is legal. So let's make it to our advantage. He continued. A campaign center is hosting a number of barbecue, beer, and ballots events without the state of the organizing and volunteer deployments. So barbecue, beer, and ballots events. I'll be right back, guys. Brenda, I think my mom's pet cat, Brenda, wants to come in. So I'll be right back. Hi. Okay, let's read this. So barbecue and beer ballot events. So we first tested barbecue beer events in Southern California in 2022 2005, and then they were huge hit harvested and test ballots. So we're scaling statewide, and every targeted seat. Make sure we win 2026. Explained DeMaio. These ballot harvesting events, voting fun, safe and secure, and they're hit with Republican, conservative, and independent voters. DeMaio adds. So DeMaio says that these events offer a barbecue and beer dinner information in state voting, answers and questions on candidates of opportunity and several candidates. Option to turn or ballot in state over the elections of Reform California when DeMaio says ballot harvesting is done right. Volunteers spent months adjusting invitations to target voters in their neighborhood, and voters back-door invitations as well. Yeah, I know that beer is alcohol, but I'm not probably won't drink that. I'll probably get soda instead. But that's just gonna be this. So you trust most Republicans inform their voters to turn in their ballots themselves. We are using these for barbecue events, and we give them the option to turn with us safe delivery. Said DeMaio. Go back to lock and box and student register voters and take elections seriously, he continued. Reform California also has events to present DeMaio's plain English voting guide, and that gives an example description of each ballot measure of the candidates running for office based on the missions opposing taxes. Fighting crime, improving schools, creating jobs, and more. You can access your guide here. Now, getting out the vote and digital mail campaigns. Barbecues and door knocking aren't the only campaigns DeMaio and Reform Cafe have up their sleeves. Reform, one of the largest grassroots organizations in the state. It's built for connection to the people, which achieve largely digital outreach of the physically mail. We're going to using systems to call and email, text, and digital ads everywhere, and we can mobilize our voters and turn their ballots, said DeMaio. And he sent out mailers and informing the key voters and issued election encouraging them to vote. He continued, and evidence of the Democrats are already panicking. DeMaio said all those of the threatening of the one-party control in California. That's why DeMaio and Reform California asking the sign of the day of the supporting campaigns together. We key seats of the political state, DeMaio included. We can help reform harvesting ballots. Homestead 1, join host committee, barbecue, beer ballots, events. Reform California does not have a budget of market invitations for ballot harvesting events, so they are relying on volunteers to sign up on the events. They could be helping out their neighbors and friends. Even a volunteer can host the event of 5 people to their event. Check out for listing events and sign up for one. And then you can select one near you. So here, so you do not. If you don't see any of you for company needs to help organize that in the area. These are trained how to organize the 200 people and your home and businesses. If you're interested in organizing business ballot harvesting, sign up a volunteer page and we'll contact you in the process. Option continue to cover ballot harvesting. You can, if you can't join us, host committee for one, because a volunteer host up of your own, we urgently need your help covering host an event of venue red tests of the food of the ballot harvesting events of the fall tour. You can also chip a contribution, help us execute a virtual ballot harvesting program, and November 2026 California election. So that's why. Alright, so. And yes, so that's what Carvalho is doing. I don't know. Well, I'm against drinking beer because I'm against drinking alcohol. But you know what? Well, I was just reading about this. That's why. But yeah. But am I going to go to that event? I don't know. You know, I got things to take care of here. But you know, I'm glad that Carvalho. I'm glad that Carvalho is doing this too. You know, that's why. It might help us. It might help us get more. Hopefully, we can get more Republicans to vote. But we also need Democrats to vote for the Republican side too. That's why. I'm not talking to. I mean, some. You know, not all. That's why. And of course, we need to stop the Earn It Act. So yes, call your senators and tell them to vote no on the Earn It Act. You can also watch these videos about the Internet Act right here. So please tell your senators and representatives in Congress, and also tell your senators to vote no on the Internet Act. And then my next video will be about Cooper Davis, the Cooper Davis Act. I'll be talking about and yes, I'll talk about the Cooper Davis Act next video anyway, because that's what we'll be talking about next video. So yeah, tell your senators to vote no on the vote no on the Earn It Act. So yes. Okay, so yeah, tell your representatives and senators to vote no on the Earn It Act. And then my next video is I'll talk about the Cooper Davis Act next video anyway. That's what I'll be talking about next video. Anyway. So yes, I know we need to stop the Earn It Act. That's why. And hopefully we can stop it completely anyway. They just keep reintroducing it. Even though we don't want it. That's why. You know, so yeah, tell your representatives to vote no on the Earn It Act. And then I'll talk about the Cooper Davis Act next video. Anyway. And you have to go right now. So thank you for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed. Say goodbye. Adios. Zaijian.